It'll be a spectacular wreck. Too bad no one will be around to see it.
Sort of like a riptide in the UP.
Oh, it didn't come back as slowly as it went out. It came back all at once.
You don't work for the government, do you?
You're listening to Comedy
For those of you that are
Parenting
looking on the webcam,
Radio.
turn it off so the kids don't go screaming out of the house right now.
Okay, now you're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
My dum-dum want to speak.
Hey, welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio. Glad you guys have joined us here today. And we have a special. We're going to be playing a previously recorded interview with radio personality Brian Bark. So let's cut right to the chase. What's the stupidest thing you've ever seen done on a vacation?
What's a vacation?
I'm about to find out after 10 years.
I was going to say 6 kids, 7 kids, and you vacation?
My mom used to say something like, we had a vacation every 10 years. I'm thinking, well, that means we had 2 vacations growing up. Yeah, I guess we did have 2 vacations growing up.
So what was the stupidest thing you ever saw? I'm stupid. Well, let's see.
Brian, would you give me the story of the 1,000-foot ship?
Oh, the story of the 1,000-foot ship. Growing up back in Michigan back in the day, we had a lot of ocean freighters that were between 300 and 400 feet long, and they had to be that size or else they'd break in half on the big waves if they were any longer. Well, on the Great Lakes, you didn't have the problem of the huge waves, so they started building in the late 70s these 1,000-foot ships. So they were 1,000 feet long, obviously. And because it was the wave pattern on the Great Lakes was different than the ocean, you wouldn't have the bow on one end of a wave and the stern on the other end of the wave and have it break in the belly. So anyway, the problem with these boats, unbeknownst to me, was they displace so much water when they go by that they literally suck the water off the shore for about 30 feet.
Do they suck little children off the shore?
If they're not careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like a riptide in the UP.
Well, no, because the riptides went back and forth. This one went in and out.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
So anyway, I'm chasing the water as the water is being sucked out away from the shore by the displacement of this great big 1,000-foot ship. I'm walking at the edge of the water, just walking it out to about 30 feet to where the ship then at this time
to collect seashells, or what do you do out there?
Just following the water.
Oh, okay. In other words, like, how close can I be to the water?
Yeah, it's like I'd never seen that section of the beach before. It was always underwater.
Right.
So anyway, as I go walking out to the now edge of the water, which is now 30 feet from where it used to be, this 1,000-foot ship has passed. Well, all that water that it had displaced had to go back to where it started. Only it didn't come back as slowly as it went out. It came back all at once. Well, I wasn't as quick as water. So where I started in about ankle-deep water, it had overtaken me, and I was wet up to my armpits.
Oh, for crying out loud. What time of the year was this?
Oh, I want to say it was around July, August, so the water was warm if St. Clair River ever got warm.
I was going to say, in the lakes up there, I mean, it never really gets warm even in the summer, does it?
No. And the worst thing was, it wasn't like it was the day at the beach. I wasn't dressed in my sandals and bathing suit and had the towel and everything laying on the beach. I had pretty much got out of the car, walked down to the edge of the water there to contemplate whatever. And so I was fully dressed, complete with nice slacks.
In your 3-piece gabardine suit. Hey, you're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We'll be right back with more stuff from Brian.
Treesock Press sells the books that stay on your shelves. When you want books that your guests pick up and read and can't put down, make sure it's one of Treesock Press's comedy books. Get a copy of our new book, Dad, the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come, and your kids will want you to read it over and over and over until you pull what little hair you have left out. When you pitch old books out into the gutter, you'll feel complete guilt if it's a Treesock Press book. Get your Treesock Press book wherever lousy comedy books are sold. Tree Sock. It stays on your shelf.
Keep it down. I'm doing something very difficult here.
Okay, Comedy Parenting Radio's back on the tracks here, and there's no getting off of this train. We're hitting all the curves full speed, and we're hanging on for dear life here, folks. We got Brian in the studio. Brian, you've been in radio a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I did do a little bit of radio.
I've heard you DJ before.
What's DJ?
Dumb Joe.
Oh, yeah. That was like one of those.
You used to spin records or
that
spin.
was one of those antiquated things where you actually put a disc on and you would, turn it.
What are you, a radio personality?
I'm unemployed now.
You didn't have any personality. That's why. You gotta have a personality to be on the air. But no, I've heard you. I was surprised. Like, hey, I know that guy on the air. So certainly. You've had one or two things that have happened when you're on the air. Like, anything ever happen?
Well, they always told me I had a face made for radio, so that was actually
for those of you that are looking on the webcam. Turn it off so the kids don't go screaming out of the house right now.
This is a family show. Turn off the webcams. So yes, I have had some rather unique experiences. Like I said, with having a face made for radio, people will they guess at what you look like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and based on your voice, people would always ask you, once they found you were in radio, it's like, so, you're in radio, what's your radio voice? And I'd look at them and say, this is my radio voice. Oh, you mean you don't have to make something? It's like, no, this is my voice, this is what I sound like.
Didn't they stop doing that back in the 1930s or whenever, like, the Hindenburg crashed? After that, it was no more of that.
I wasn't around back then, Jerry. I realize you might have been, but I wasn't around back then.
Yeah, I saw the Hindenburg go down. It was nasty.
Oh, the travesty, the humanity. Yeah, I saw that on the newsreel. I'm not that old, but...
Ranger Station.
Hi, I want to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My front door. It was Smokey Bear. My husband was burning leaves in the yard. He just came inside for a second.
Never leave a fire unattended. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Smokey said that too.
We go way back. I knew him when he was just a cub.
How cute.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, gang, it's the time of the show here now where we're going to pull something off of the Comedy Parenting website. That's comedyparenting.com. And let's go to the Do the Right Thing test. This is from test number 1, and we're going to just read a couple of the questions off the test. This is stuff that you can download and give your kids too. So Do the Right Thing test number 1. Here's one of the questions. Dropping clothes on the floor and leaving them makes you A, good steward of resources, B, lazy, C, smarter than Albert Einstein, or D, really, really rich. How about Mom and Dad are right? A, all the time, B, most of the time, C, rarely, D, only when talking with a weasel. You can get your copy of the Do the Right Thing test at comedyparenting.com.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
Brian, I gotta run to the restroom. Why don't you just sit here and play the Nigerian thumb piano until I get back, okay?
Oh, well, I'm not very good at this thumb piano, so I've actually got somebody else sitting here playing it for me. And, one of the things now that Jerry's doing this is kind of new to him, and I've got a little bit of experience in it, is when you have to go use the bathroom or something, when nature calls, whatever verbiage you want to use, What you always did was you played the dance version of the song, which had like a 3-minute... How many out there, well, rhetorical question, how many remember In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly? That thing was like a 17-minute drum solo. That was the absolute perfect song to play if you hadn't visited the restroom in a while. So, wow. He must not have had to go very bad, because here he comes right back. But anyway.
I tell you what, I really hate those low flush toilets.
Does that mean you have to bend over to use them or what?
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman. Something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cool time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
The only thing holding her together are the bird droppings.
We're back with Comedy Parenting Radio. I got Brian in the studio, and also he brought Larry with him. Brian is a ventriloquist, and he brought his ventriloquist dummy named Larry. And Larry had some grammar that he was talking about earlier. Larry, tell me about the grammar, the difference between those two words.
The words that we were going to focus on were nauseous, and this meant that you were causing people to be nauseated. So to say that somebody is nauseous, like Brian is nauseous, that means that...
Wait, you can't say that Brian is nauseous.
Really, I feel great.
Well, that would mean to say that we, both of us, are feeling nauseous or nauseated.
I don't know of any ventriloquist dummies that feel nauseous.
No, but this one can make a lot of people sick. Which would be the proper usage of the term nausea.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm wrong. Thank you.
Do the Pepto-Bismol people know this?
I think that was... Go ahead. Go ahead,
might
Larry.
not be on the market.
Let the dummy talk.
He was letting me.
I'm arguing with my ventriloquy master.
Ventriloquy.
Is there like a ventriloquer, and a ventriloquy, or like who gets ventriloquated at?
Is that a trick question?
And you're asking me the ventriloquist.
The ventriloquated.
Yeah.
Yes.
The effect of the ventriloquy. One starts with an A and the other one starts with an E. What's the difference, Brian?
One is a noun, one is a verb.
Brian, have you ever been nauseated by a dummy before?
No, but I think I'm getting nauseous.
Oh, my word. Comedy parenting. This is so out of control. I want to get off this train. I'll tell you what, folks. Thanks for joining us today. We had Brian and his dummy, Larry, here in the studio. You guys, check back with us next week when the topic is going to be, well, we never know until we start pushing the record button. We'll see you guys next week. Somebody go shut those lights off. We got to get out of here. The next guy's coming in the studio. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
I read this article a while back that said that Microsoft employs more millionaire secretaries than any other company in the world. They took stock options over Christmas bonuses. It was a good move.